right. All right. Ooh, woo, 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 woo. Hey, people, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. Man, we are lucky to be doing the show tonight. I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, my internet was down. I don't think it was just me. I think it was everybody. I think everybody's internet was down. It wasn't my computer. It was the internet service. My ISP provider wasn't giving me any love. So even though tonight's debate was earlier than usual, it started at 8 instead of 9, I'm ended up doing the show later than usual. But I could have waited till, later on in the day today. But I figured, you know what? I'm still awake. I hope you guys are still awake. Obviously you are if you're watching this. So let's go and make sure we got some type of audio and video up on Facebook, guys. Facebook people. Rose is in the house. Sheila's in the house. Edwin's in the house. Leanne is in the house. What's up, Patrick? What's up, Jared? Davis. What's up, Robert? That's right. Uli's in the house. What's up, Uli? What's up, Josie? We are getting some hearts and some thumbs up. That means people can hear. That's what's up. Can't guarantee the last. I feel you though, Uli. I understand. Look, I understand. This will be almost 11 p.m. in California. I feel you. I understand, guys. Now let's go over to YouTube and make sure YouTube has a little bit. Hey, what's up, Chong? Inside C17, Karen. Sick Wordsmith says, speak yo, say yo, Robert Lee. What's up, man? Joe Famous, Jeremy, Kelly. There you go, guys. So you're right. Let's act like it. Let's act like we here. Let's act like things are, we press for time. That way we get right to start killing it. All right, guys. So look, check this out. We watched the Democratic debates. I watched it. I live tweeted. I got into it. I was hitting them real smooth with all types of tweets that were going somewhat semi-viral. Some did okay. I'm not going to say it was my best night, but it was not my worst night. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. The debate for me started off somewhat slow. I got to it a little bit late because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize the time was flying like it was. But, so I tuned in like 8:30-ish, okay? But to kind of, so anyway, it's a lot. So we know who was on the stage, right? We got a list of who was there. There are people I realize who didn't get a chance to watch any of this stuff. So for those people who didn't get a chance to watch any of this stuff, they don't even know who made it in the debates or what have you. Real quick, let me put up on the screen who was in the debates, okay? So we got Joe Biden, we got Pete Buttigieg, we got Amy Klobuchar, we got Bernie Sanders, we have Tom Steyer, Elizabeth Warren, and Andrew Yang. So that was the Magnificent Seven, guys. The Magnificent Seven. All right. So, what an interesting night. All right, what an interesting night it was, guys. So we're going to do winners and losers, and we're also going to do a section called Who Needs to Get the Hell Out, okay? Because they don't tell them that on mainstream media. Now, corporate media never says it like it needs to be said. Who should go ahead and hit the other side of that door? Who should go ahead? You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. Who needs to leave? Stop taking up all the oxygen. All right, so there's a couple points that were made tonight I think that we need to touch on. I got something that I don't usually have when I do these shows. I have a couple of clips. Yeah, I have clips of the show, clips of the back and forth. I think that would be good. I mean, since I had a little bit of time and I recorded a lot of the show, a lot of the debate, I was able to grab a couple of clips. I would like to start off with a clip. Check this out. Okay, so let's start with this one. To start off the debate, I'd like to start off with, let me set this up now that I know which one it is. We're going to do this. Let's do Yang Gang, okay? Let's do our Yang people because, I like to take credit for stuff whenever possible. Whenever there's an opportunity, I like to take credit for it. Andrew Yang was up on that stage, and he was the only person of color. People like to say, Tim, don't say person of color. Okay, he was the only Asian guy. Okay, he was the only non-white person. That feel better for you? They don't like when you lump in everybody like everybody's one thing. Like when they don't get treated like one thing in society, and I get that. You got point made. I feel you. Now everybody has the history of anyone else. Everybody's story is different. Everyone's story is unique. Okay, so, and everybody hasn't been treated the same way in this country. Everybody's present is not the same, nor is everyone's past the same. So I understand that very much. Andrew Yang was asked a question somewhere on the campaign trail, right? They asked Andrew Yang, they said, Andrew, I did a video on it, you might remember it, just yesterday. They said, Andrew, how do you feel being the only Asian person on stage? You notice there are no black people left. There are no black people going to be on the stage with you. And Andrew Yang proceeded to answer that question. Now, his answer to that question, I thought it was soft. I thought it was weak. I thought it had no emotion, it had no connection, and worse than that, I felt that Andrew Yang was giving too much credit to the DNC. He was being too much of a company guy. He's not even a company guy. He's not a member of the DNC. If anybody in this race, other than Tom Steyer, can come into this race and call it out, it's Andrew Yang. He's not a congressman or a senator or a governor or even a former mayor or a mayor, right? Andrew Yang's a business guy, so why should he be kissing the butt of the DNC about their rules? There's shady rules that determine who gets to be in the debates and who doesn't. Meanwhile, we let billionaires buy their way in. So I had a problem with the way that Andrew Yang conducted the way that he responded in this interview. I put the video out yesterday about Andrew Yang and saying, look, don't go in here and do this. Speak proactively. Be revolutionary. A lot of young people didn't like that I called out Andrew Yang. But there were a few Yang supporters who took my criticism and said, okay, all right, Tim Black, maybe you got a point. Here goes Andrew Yang responding to the same question that I said he needed to do a better job on. Here goes Andrew Yang in real time on the debate stage, the world stage. Now the one guy not being asked by himself in a little compartment on a train or wherever he was. Check this out.
The Democratic Party relies on Black, Hispanic, and Asian voters, but you are the only candidate of color on the stage tonight, and the entire field remains overwhelmingly white. What message do you think this sends to voters of color?
It's both an honor and disappointment to be the lone candidate of color on the stage tonight. I miss Kamala, I miss Cory, though I think Cory will be back. I grew up the son of immigrants, and I had many racial epithets used against me as a kid. But Black and Latinos have something much more powerful working against them than words. They have numbers. The average net worth of a Black household is only 10% that of a white household. For Latinos, it's 12%. If you're a Black woman, you're 320% more likely to die from complications in childbirth. These are the numbers that define race in our country. And the question is, why am I the lone candidate of color on this stage? Fewer than 5% of Americans donate to political campaigns. You know what you need to donate to political campaigns? Disposable income. The way we fix this is we take Martin Luther King's message of a guaranteed minimum income, a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month for all Americans. I guarantee if we had a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month, I would not be the only candidate of color on this stage tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Yang.
All right. So you see, Andrew Yang did a little bit better job than he did before. I said Andrew Yang did a better job of communicating some of the frustration that folks are feeling about there not being much diversity on that stage other than himself. Now, don't get me wrong, this was not his response would not be argued as being the most outstanding response ever given on a presidential debate stage. It would not go down in history as a killer response in a fight for social justice, or even a very notable response. But it is a better response. And being as though he was the only one who could deliver that response, who was going to have that thrust upon him, who would be judged by it, I got to say, guys, I think Andrew Yang did a better job, arguably, measurably better than he did before. And I would also like to submit to all my Yang Gang people out there, go ahead and thank me now. I told Andrew Yang he needed to do a better job on his answer to this question. He did a better job on the answer to this question. See, my job and your job ain't the same job. My job is to push a candidate and push them in the right direction. Call it out for what I see and keep it real. And obviously, Andrew Yang was able to rise to it. Now, like I stated, there were things about the answer I didn't like. I mean, comparing his story about racial epithets, dude, structural racism has nothing to do with somebody calling you the N-word or any horrible Asian word, okay? That's not what it's about. It's about systemic problems. Bad schools lead to bad jobs lead to poverty and jail. That's the way the system is set up, okay? So the lack of opportunity for these people in these communities sets their life on a certain trajectory. Bad water, bad medical treatment, bad diet, bad availability of foods, of natural foods, organic foods in these communities. I mean, it's a series of things, from the water to the air. It's a whole lot. But so look, I'm not expecting Andrew to know all this stuff. I don't think it's his focus. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. There's no reason why he can't have somebody on his team who makes sure that Andrew Yang knows these things, that he's prepared for them. But I will give him props for progressing on an issue, doing a better job on an issue this time out than last time. And that's really something to be applauded. So good job, Andrew Yang. And moreover, as we get into a little bit of this, you'll see that Andrew Yang did a very serviceable job tonight. I mean, he had a lot of eyes on him. And he rose to the occasion pretty well. I was very impressed with Andrew Yang's ability to stand in the box, deliver, and I thought he did a good job, okay? But we'll get to that as it relates to the rest of the field. So Andrew Yang, that question, he did a good job on that question. Let's go back. We got more clips.
The Democratic Party relies on Black, Hispanic, and Asian voters.
Let's do this. Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. I don't have a list of all the clips I have set up. All right? Let me take this off. Okay. I don't have a list of all the clips, so I had to kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. Okay, so on that same question, so that was a question posed to Andrew Yang about how he felt being a person of color, only person of color, or Asian man, Asian woman, the person of Asian descent that's up on the stage, and there being no Black or Latino folks. Remember, Julian Castillo was also not on the stage. Okay, so let's keep that. Let's remember that part too, which really didn't get much coverage. But they posed that question, the same question, to Bernie Sanders. And this was Bernie's response. You didn't know I was going to include this, did you?
I do want to put the same question to you, Senator Sanders. What message do you think?
I'll answer that question, but I wanted to get back to the issue of climate change for a moment, because I do believe this is the existential issue.
Senator, with all respect, this question is about race. Can you answer the question as it was asked?
I certainly can. Because people of color, in fact, are going to be the people suffering most if we do not deal with climate change. And by the way, we have an obligation up here, if there are not any of our African-American brothers and sisters up here, to speak about an economy in which African Americans are exploited, where Black women die 3 times at higher rates than white women, where we have a criminal justice system which is racist and broken, disproportionately made up of African Americans and Latinos and Native Americans who are in jail. So we need an economy that focuses on the needs of oppressed, exploited people, and that is the African American community.
Okay. All right, all right.
As a wise.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
I do want the same question.
All right. Get that out of here. Okay, so, all right, so this question here that was posed to Bernie Sanders, same question was given to Andrew Yang. Bernie earlier, okay, so Bernie earlier was asked about, he went on a answer to climate change. And he talked about climate change, and I think there was portions of the argument about climate change that he wanted to reiterate. And you know how they do. They go back to their talking point of whatever issue they want to cover. Then they go to the question, sort of kind of customer. In fact, Andrew Yang just did it here. He talked about race, but then he went right back to freedom dividend. This is sort of customary in the way that people answer questions. For whatever reason, the moderator felt like she wanted to stick it to Bernie and make it seem like he didn't want to answer the racial aspect. I think Bernie did a good job of pivoting, showing, well, you don't think climate change is related to black people? It may not have anything to do with race on this stage, but then he kind of added that in as well. He added in that, well, if there's no black people on this stage, we need to talk about economy, and we should talk about the way that the economy impacts black people in particular. Now, I want to say, right, I don't work for the Bernie campaign. I'm critical of Bernie when there's time to be. I thought that Bernie should have answered the question about race more directly initially. Bernie knows that this is a sticking point. I think it was a slip-up by Bernie not to answer that question directly. You can't be thinking about what you're thinking about. I understand intersectionality, Bernie. I understand that climate change will more adversely impact poor people. And who are poor people more than likely? Black and brown people, black people specifically. We know that. But she doesn't know that, and she doesn't care to know that. And a lot of people watching don't know that. So in your advanced mind, in your advanced knowledge of the facts, Brianna as well, Brianna Joy, in the reaction to what's being stated, in Bernie's mind, he knows that climate change will impact black people. When we talk about climate change, you are talking about black people and what we do about it, but regular folks are not going to make that connection. They're going to look at it like you are sidestepping the issue. Now, I'd like to give him props for recollecting himself and showing, oh no, these things are connected. And every issue that we talk about, any issue that we talk about is a black issue. And see, that's one of the things I think that needs to be stressed, because I've seen some critics of Bernie Sanders get upset when he brings up criminal justice. Well, black people are only concerned with criminal justice. We're not all concerned about jail. Why is he only never talk about other? When he talks about economy, people get mad and say, why he not talking about other black issues? With some people, Bernie can never do any right. For some people, Bernie can never do any wrong. And this one, it was a mix. I think that Bernie was right, but I think what the audience wants to hear, and you have to know that they're looking for you. The reason why they called on you, Bernie, after Yang, is not to help you. This is a knock they want to feed into about you. You know what the cable media has done to you. Now, remember, this is all in real time. Bernie has to do that right there on the spot, be able to pivot to something that's going to correlate those two issues. I thought Bernie Sanders did a good job. It's the sign of someone who's light on their feet, ambidextrous, and double-jointed when need to be. I don't think that Joe Biden could have ever done what Bernie just did, which was go one way, go the other way, pull it all together, and get out on a relevant point and still get an applause. Hello. So there it is. And that's how you critique a candidate that you love, by admitting this could have been done better, but also recognizing what they did that also should be getting some approval or also acknowledgement. Unlike some of my counterparts in independent media who kiss ass and then people give them a pass. I don't agree with it at all. I see why they do it, because they can continue to do it, and certain people just ignore it. We love them too. Just keep on shoveling BS at us. I'm not going to do that, because what good is my credibility if I do that? My credibility is not for sale. It's not for view and it's not for sale. Let's keep it moving, guys. We got more clips we would like to get to. We got more clips we'd like to get to. Let's see this one. Okay. Whoo. Let's get rid of this one. We got too many things here. Okay. Here we go, guys. I got you. Stay with me. Stay with me. I got you covered. Check this out. Now, one of the things that I was wrestling with when going into this debate, we still good? One of the things that I was wrestling with as we were going into this debate was, is it possible that someone will deal with Mayor Pete? Will Mayor Pete be dealt with in an effective manner absent Tulsi Gabbard? Oh, come on. Even the people that are negative towards Tulsi Gabbard must acknowledge that she was very much a stealthily strategic actor on the debate stage. She was no joke. And she is no joke on the debate stage. She made a name for herself called the Widowmaker. And yes, I know she was a medic in the Army. I can still call her a killer because she killed Kamala Harris. People are so petty. I didn't say she was a murderer. I said she was a killer. There's a difference, Johnson. Bill Clinton, Obama, George W. Bush, those are murderers. Back to my point. So I was sitting here wondering, like, who's going to deal with Pete Buttigieg? Come on, who's going to call this guy? Somebody's got to call him out. I can't stand the way he gets to word salad and provide these slip mechanisms to get out of answering questions as he goes on tirades. Will there be someone who steps up? Who will it be? Well, guys, I'm going to have to report to you the honest, unequivocal truth. One of those people that was unexpected. I did not expect this to this extent. Amy Klobuchar, or Amy Crowbar Jaw, took the crowbar out and proceeded to beat Pete about the head. Here's a clip.
When it comes to being made fun of, I'm worried about the fact that he is echoing the vocabulary of dictators around the world. Yes. When the American president refers to unfavorable press coverage as the product of the enemy of the people, democracy around the world gets weaker. Freedom of the press, not just here at home, but around the world, gets weaker. It's one more reminder of what is at stake, not just here at home, but for world history, in the imperative that we win this election.
Could I respond?
This is our chance.
Very brief.
I just want to make very clear, Mayor, that the freedom of the press is deep in my heart. My dad was a newspaperman, and I am the one that asked every attorney general candidate we've had under Donald Trump, both of whom I opposed, about their respect for the First Amendment. And they have refused to follow the rules that Attorney General Holder put in place when it came to protecting our journalists. They would not commit that they wouldn't put a journalist in jail for doing their job. So this is not just talking points to me. This is the real world. And I think that experience that I will bring to the White House with protecting the First Amendment is worth more than any talking points.
We are going to take a short break, and we will be
So that was the, I should say, the first shot over the bow from Amy Klobuchar directed at Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And it all began as something that was kind of subtle, right? I missed it at first. In fact, I tweeted, what is Klobuchar talking about? She's all around the bend, being word salady. If you're going to say something, just say it directly. But it was in the little nuance of the way she spoke, the tone of voice, the way she said, Mayor. Yeah, she didn't say it like it was a good thing. She said, Mayor Pete. Like, very condescending. I was like, okay, well, that after hearing it back a couple of times, I realized, she was kind of snippy. She was not giving him much weight at all. And then they went to the break. And then they came back. And that's when the fireworks started.
I'm being made fun of. I'm worried about the fact that he is echoing the
Elizabeth's work starting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and helping 29 million people. I see the vice president's work in getting $2 billion for his cancer moonshot. I see Senator Sanders' work of working to get the veterans bill passed across the aisle. And I see what I've done, which is to negotiate 3 farm bills and be someone that actually had major provisions put in those bills. So while you can dismiss committee hearings, I think this experience works. And I have not denigrated your experience as a local official. I have been one. I just think you should respect our experience when you look at how you evaluate someone who can get things done.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Mayor, I'll give you a chance to respond.
You actually did denigrate my experience, Senator, and it was before the break, and I was going to let it go because we got bigger fish to fry here. But you implied
I don't
that my
think we have bigger fish to fry than picking a president of the United States.
You're right. And before the break, you seemed to imply that my relationship to the First Amendment was a talking point, as if anyone up here has any more or less commitment to the Constitution than anybody else up here. Let me tell you about my relationship to the First Amendment. It is part of the Constitution that I raised my right hand and swore to defend with my life. That is my experience, and it may not be the same as yours, but it counts, Senator. It counts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Senator Klobuchar, you have 45 seconds to respond.
I certainly respect your military experience. That's not what this is about. This is about choosing a president. And I know my view of this is I know you ran to be chair of the Democratic National Committee. That's not something that I wanted to do. I want to be president of the United States. And the point is, we should have someone heading up this ticket that has actually won and been able to show that they can gather the support that you talk about of moderate Republicans and independents, as well as a fired up Democratic base. And not just done it once, I have done it 3 times. I think winning matters. I think a track record of getting things done matters. And I also think showing our party that we can actually bring people with us, have a wider tent, have a bigger coalition, and yes, longer coattails, that matters.
Thank you, Senator.
I got to respond to that. Senator, I know that if you just go by vote totals, maybe what goes on in my city seems small to you. If you want to talk about the capacity to win, try putting together a coalition to bring you back to office with 80% of the vote as a gay dude in Mike Pence's Indiana.
Again, if you had won in Indiana, that would be one thing. You tried and you lost by 20 points.
Damn. Woo. Ow. Goodness gracious, Amy Klobuchar. Goodness gracious, where'd that come from? What a flurry of direct shots to the head from Amy Klobuchar, delivering them on Mayor Pete's forehead. Wow, even a couple of rabbit punches. Was that a kick to the groin at the very end there? Amy Klobuchar was not playing with Mayor Pete. And this is what I was talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about. Going at Pete directly as he tries to hide behind the Constitution. He signed up to go to Afghanistan for a tour, or I don't know what it was. Okay? Great, fantastic. That does not negate your lack of experience when it comes to governance. Then when he uses the thing, I don't know if you caught this at the end, Mayor Pete Buttigieg used the gay card. Yeah, he used the gay card. He said, well, I ran for office in Mike Pence's as a gay man in Mike Pence's Indiana. As if Mike Pence owned Indiana. Right? And Amy Klobuchar's like, okay, you go ahead and clap, go ahead. But you lost by 20 points. Booyah! Hello! So, are you going to run for president in Donald Trump's America as a gay man? We can't have you lose by 20 points, Pete. See how that works? Now, here goes the thing I like to mention, guys. I've heard Barack Obama say a lot of things, covered the campaign pretty extensively. I never heard him use his blackness as a way to say this is why he's going to be better for the job. Now, I could be wrong because I'm not going to say he's above such tactics. We all know that there's not much that Barack Obama isn't above, okay? Or is above, or isn't above, or won't stoop below. You get my point. But the point is, I don't recall it. I think I would have recalled it in the debate if he was like, well, I'm a black guy, so I'm living in George Bush's black America, or black George Bush's America, and I'm a senator, state senator, and you know, I remember that. Listen, hey, me and Michelle, we're black, okay? That's all we got to know. That's what you got to know, right? Don't boo, vote. Vote for the black guy because I'm a black guy. Makes life twice as hard. Cool. Income inequality, I got your income inequality. I got big ears and I'm black, right? Okay. He didn't do that. So I thought that was telling. Amy Klobuchar did a good job. She did a good job there. In fact, I was wondering if she was ever going to wake up, and she woke up right on time. Interesting. But luckily for us, fans of seeing Mayor Pete Buttigieg get his comeuppance, and that's exactly what I am. I'm unapologetically not a Mayor Pete fan for a lot of reasons. One of them being I'm allergic to word salad, and he uses a lot of word salad and distractive talking points in order to get people off his trail, and I'm not falling for it at all. Elizabeth Warren sparred with Mayor Pete. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren had her back and forth with Mayor Pete. Here goes a little bit of that, in case you missed it.
Elizabeth's work starting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and helping.
Mayor just recently had a fundraiser that was held in a wine cave full of crystals and served $900 a bottle wine. Think about who comes to that. He had promised that every fundraiser he would do would be open door, but this one was closed door. We made the decision many years ago that rich people in smoke-filled rooms would not pick the next president of the United States. Billionaires in wine caves should not pick the next president of the United States.
Mr. Mayor, your response. You know, according to Forbes magazine, I am literally the only person on this stage who's not a millionaire or a billionaire. So if this is important, this is the problem with issuing purity tests you cannot yourself pass. If I pledge never to be in the company of a progressive Democratic donor, I couldn't be up here. Senator, your net worth is 100 times mine. Now, supposing that you went home feeling the holiday spirit, I know this isn't likely, but stay with me, and decided to go on to PeteForAmerica.com and give the maximum allowable by law, $2,800. Would that pollute my campaign because it came from a wealthy person? No, I would be glad to have that support. We need the support from everybody who is committed to helping us defeat Donald Trump. We would like to bring in everyone, but obviously, Senator Warren, I'd like to give you a chance to respond.
I do not sell access to my time. I don't do call time with millionaires and billionaires.
Sorry, as of when, Senator?
I don't meet behind closed doors with big dollar donors. And look, I've taken one that ought to be an easy step for everyone here. I've said to anyone who wants to donate to me, if you want to donate to me, that's fine. But don't come around later expecting to be named ambassador, because that's what goes on in these high-dollar fundraisers. I said no, and I asked everybody on this stage to join me. This ought to be an easy step, and here's the problem. If you can't stand up and take the steps that are relatively easy, can't stand up to the wealthy and well-connected when it's relatively easy when you're a candidate, then how can the American people believe You're going to stand up to the wealthy and well-connected when you're president, and it's really hard.
Judy.
Senator, I've got to respond. First of all,
Mayor, we're
if
gonna
you
give you one
can't
more
say
chance to
no
respond.
to a donor, then you have no business running for office in the first place.
I don't understand what Mayor Pete was trying to get at there. My friend of the show and moderator, Eli, he said it, he called it out on Twitter. He was like, Tim, did Pete just say if you can't say no to a donor, you have no business running for president to begin with? Well, isn't that exactly the question, the point that she's trying to make is that you won't say no to donors. You won't stop having these big fundraisers with big money donors. You don't have to say no to them if you don't have the big money fundraisers with the big donors. If you don't go into the freaking wine cave with billionaires and multi-millionaires raising money for your campaign, then you don't have anything to say no to other than regular folks. And since regular folks, people that make a modest living are the people that you're going to be governing for, at least to be your prime focus. There's only so many of these rich bastards who can vote. If people are only worth their vote, their one vote, everybody's equal. What I don't like about Pete is he tries to pretend that he's not smart enough to understand the influence of cash. Now, he says, that he's the only person up there who's not a millionaire. Well, maybe that's the reason why you're surrounding yourself by so many millionaires. Maybe that's the reason why we got video footage of you hanging out with Mark Zuckerberg 4 or 5 years ago, looking like two guys about to go on a killing spree. Hey, ladies, want to ride? Hey, fellas, want to ride? I need to tell someone where I'm at. No, you don't. So Mayor Pete acts like he doesn't understand what campaign finance is all about, nor does he understand the influence of big money. And if he doesn't get that and he wants to brush that aside, I believe that that's the biggest threat to our democracy. That's our biggest culprit. Big money. Powerful people with big money influencing our elections. There are some people that believe it's the women thing or the black thing and identity politics. Someone said black. Oh, no. As if that's ever benefited us. I'm the first black person in my family to ever have the rights of the average white guy in America. First one. And we've been in this country since the 1700s. My family. But I'm the first one born into having the same rights as a white guy was always given. So the idea that identity politics is the most dangerous thing in America is bullshit. The most dangerous thing in America is big money interest. And that's why we don't have Medicare for all. That's the reason why you can't get a decent minimum wage. That's the reason why they union bust. Every problem that we have can be traced back to money. Big money influence on people. That's it. Big money influence on people. It ties into our military-industrial complex, our nation building, or whatever the hell they want to call it. It's always at the root of it. It's always money. Big money influence. They want to get the contracts. Big money people want to get the contracts. They give out money via lobbyists, which has politicians doing the bidding of those military-industrial complex contractors, military contractors, defense weapons contractors, and what have you. So anyway, back to my point about Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete is a very smart guy. How can you be a Rhodes Scholar and not get it? Well, Elizabeth Warren just knocked it down. Oh, Jesus. Well, snickerdoodles. Listen here, Tim Black. I'm surprised. You just gave me some props. You just gave me respect. I'm not used to getting that out of you. Oh, humdinger, zinger bangers. Root beer floats, and honey buns, and warm kisses, marshmallow treats, and fiddly sticks on tops of sprinkles. I tell you, milk down here, Tim Black, you're starting to grow on me right now. You're growing on me like moss. You're growing on me like a long fingernail that needs to be clipped. But right now I'm going to use you because I got something I need to get from behind the dresser. I'm going to use that long fingernail for as long as I can use it. Right after I take that dress out, lay that dress on the bed, You know that dress I'm talking about. That dress you wear when you got stuff to do. You need to go make a couple of dollars down at the Piggly Wiggly. Got to go to work down there at the Piggly Wiggly. This Oklahoma gal knows how to do what she needs to do. Put on those shoes and get to stepping. But I want to thank you, Tim Black. Oh, yeah, I want to thank you, Tim Black, for showing I could take out Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete is a son of a gun. He's a lying, conniving scumbag. I don't even think he's a human being. And I'm glad that you recognize that I'm better than him. I might not be good as Bernie Sanders, but I'm a lot better than Pete. In fact, I'm better than two Petes with a side of Joe Biden. Good job, milk dud head Tim Black. Good job. I'll be cursing you out tomorrow, but today, you're all right with me. You're all right with me. All right. I got a couple more clips, though. So besides Elizabeth standing up there, I think there was something else that happened that needs to be shared about an exchange. Let me see if I can find that real quick, guys. My bad, I got it. Here we go. Now let me set this one up for you. Hope I didn't give it away too much. So they did have a conversation about money influence. And then it started talking about some other issues that's going to open the door a little bit. Here goes Elizabeth Warren trying to educate Mayor Pete on the importance of getting money out of our politics, and Mayor Pete playing as dumb, similar to the, like he went to a school that was not a Rhodes Scholar school, that was not a Harvard or Yale. Here it goes.
You would be the oldest president ever inaugurated. I'd like you to weigh in as well.
I'd also be the youngest woman ever inaugurated. I believe that President Obama was talking about who has power in America, whose voices get heard. I believe he's talking about women and people of color and trans people and people whose voices just so often get shoved out. And for me, the best way to understand that is look at how people are running their campaigns in 2020. You know, I made the decision when I decided to run not to do business as usual. And now I'm crowding in on 100,000 selfies. That's 100,000 hugs and handshakes and stories. Stories from people who are struggling with student loan debt. Stories from people who can't pay their medical bills. Stories from people who can't find childcare. Now, most of the people on this stage run a traditional campaign, and that means going back and forth from coast to coast to rich people and people who can put up $5,000 or more in order to have a picture taken, in order to have a conversation, and in order maybe to be considered to be an ambassador.
Thank you, Senator Warren.
Those selfies, no, I want to finish this. Those selfies cost nobody anything. And I get it. In a democracy, we all have a lot of different points of view, and everybody gets one vote. But here's the thing. People who can put down $5,000 to have a picture taken don't have the same priorities as people who are struggling with student loan debt or are struggling to pay off medical debt. I'm running a campaign where people whose voices get heard. We can't have,
Thank you, Senator Warren.
We can't have people who can put down $5,000 for a check, drown out the voices of everyone else.
Thank you, Senator
They
Warren.
don't in my campaign, and they
Mayor
won't
Buttigieg.
in my White House.
All right. I'm a little pissed off because I don't think that's the clip I wanted. See, that's the thing when you use clips. Now I got to hope that that was the clip I wanted. Well, anyway, Elizabeth Warren is talking about Mayor Pete and his little fundraisers, which led us to the other clip about the campaign finance reform. So there were a couple exchanges I don't have clips for. I just want to run them down to you real quick. First of all, Mayor Pete is still on this talking point, guys. And I hate to make this all about Mayor Pete, but he did do the worst, in my opinion. He did not do the worst. There's someone who did worse than him. He's on the bottom, okay? There are things he did that aren't. He said some things that were really didn't make much sense to me. One of them he loves to say, he says often, is about the college, right? So, question came up about college or anywhere in the conversation, and Mayor Pete's bringing up the whole thing. Well, we don't want to help rich kids get free college, free college tuition, free tuition college, free local college tuition. That's what it is. And he's bringing up the whole thing about rich kids. And I tell you, man, Bernie Sanders pushed back on it, as did someone else. But here's the thing: I want to make sure that everybody watching this live stream understands. Oh, you got to understand the truth about the college. See? And I want to make sure everybody understands how Pete is a scumbag when it comes to this issue. Does anybody really believe that rich people, even given the opportunity to go to free local schools, would go? Seriously, think about it for a second. He says he is opposed to poor people, working people, middle-class people, people living paycheck to paycheck, people of modest means, people just trying to keep the car running, or people who might got one car, maybe lucky enough to have two cars. Like people, the average American who doesn't have more than $400 emergency, can't afford that. He's opposed to them getting free college because, oh, God forbid if some rich people decide they want to go to Prince George's Community College or UDC, University of District of Columbia. Let me assure you, if you're dumb enough to fall for this Pete talking point. In fact, anybody who supports Pete should disown themselves of Pete right now. You need to shed yourself of him right now, because this is the most disingenuous argument to ever make. Have you ever known any rich people? That's what kills me. Rich people know rich people. How many rich friends do you know that would go to a community college or trade school for free? Oh, because it's free. No, they wouldn't, Johnson. No. In fact, weren't we just watching a story? It was a big story in the news about a Hollywood actress and a couple of Hollywood actresses who paid money, bribed to get their kids into what? They didn't bribe to get them into a community college. They bribed to get them into good schools. When I say good schools, I mean universities, private universities. Rich people will not send their kids to local community colleges just because it's free to save a couple of bucks. Rich people, in fact, rich people wouldn't send their kids to a local college or a community college if the community college paid them to do it. You don't understand the prestige level, the need for prestige and keeping up with the Joneses, which is the life of a rich person. There's some things that rich people will skimp on. Maybe they won't always wear. They won't go buy spinning rims. Maybe they won't go buy the Yeezys. I don't know. Maybe they don't wear gold chains and drop a lot of money on flashy items. At least that's the stereotype. Though somebody's doing it. But if you don't think that a rich person, a well-to-do person, a person of wealth, would spend that wealth sending their children to prestigious schools, even if local colleges were free, if you don't believe that, I don't know what's wrong with you. And it says something about a person who would try to sell that narrative in order to stop poor people, working people, people who can't afford a $400 emergency, from having an education. In fact, Pete comes from a working family, and his family spent money to send him not to a local college, but to a prestigious school, and he's middle class. So I don't understand why this is such a hard element of truth to be digested. Pete Buttigieg is not your friend. He never was your friend. He's selling you a crop of BS. Search your soul. Make a decision. Now, this is what we talk about when we say the power of money influence on people. There are people who would definitely take advantage of being able to go to school locally, and a local tuition would be free. Not books, not lodging, but tuition would be free, okay? There are people who would use that to great advantage to help their lives, to better their lives. And if you don't want to go to college, there are trade schools. We need air conditioning repair people. There's some things that can't be done via smartphone and droids and freaking AI. There's still some things that real people have to do, like when my water heater went out. There's some things you got to know how to do with your hands that there will always be a market for, that actually might be more sustainable than people with college degrees. I said it. So anyway, back to the point. I liked that Mayor Pete was called out over and over and over again. He has been getting a nice, clean, safe walk to practice with his wallet out. And finally, he got mugged today. He got mugged at the ATM by a couple of ladies. Two tough ladies mugged him at the ATM, Amy Klobuchar and Senator Elizabeth Warren. And though I have my critiques of each of them today, they did the damn thing. So make no mistake about that. I don't know if you're going to read. I don't know if they're going to write it up that way. And they're still going to say, Mayor Pete did an excellent job. He was vacuous. He threw out a lot of big words that meant nothing. He made everything he said sound like it was so important because I stand behind it. Well, he got bodied. Now, one other thing I want to bring up. There's a couple more things. One of the things I want to bring up. I brought up that Bernie Sanders, when he was asked a question about race, he wanted to talk about climate change. He said, I'm going to answer the race question, but I want to mention something about climate change. Maybe want to make sure he mentioned it. Okay, I already said, don't do that. Just go with the race thing, then go to your climate change. Do the thing they want you to do the thing and weave them together. That's what you want to do when it's race, Bernie. You know, they want to say you don't have black support when you have more black support than any other candidate in this race. I want to repeat that. They love to say that Bernie Sanders does not have black support when Bernie Sanders has more black support or minority support, blacks and Latinos, than any other candidate in this race. This weekend he's holding an event, all Hispanic event, Latino event, than any other candidate in this race. They keep talking about Biden doing well in South Carolina. He ain't doing well in Maryland. He does well in a certain demographic of black folks, not all black folks across the country. But they don't tell you that. They just keep saying, South Carolina, South Carolina, South Carolina. Well, I want you to know there are black people all over this country. Black people aren't only in South Carolina. There are a few black people in Maryland. Hello? There's black people in D.C., my brothers. Black people in Virginia, black people in New York, New Jersey, Pittsburgh. There's a few black people in Portland, Oregon I ran into. But anyway, Bernie, you know what they're going to do. They're going to shoehorn you into this thing because you're an older white guy. They're going to make it seem like, for some reason, older white guy Biden is great with blacks, and they try to paint you as negative. One of the things I haven't seen anybody harp on was there was a reparations question. Oh, yeah, there was a reparations question. And Joe Biden was like, yay! You asked me a reparations question. But it was sort of like, well, let me see if I can do it. He was like, next question is for Joe Biden. Joe Biden, same answer, same question about reparations. Do you think that black people deserve reparations? What's your stance on reparations? Well, you know, I want you to know that I've been waiting for a long time to talk about this reparations questions. Let me answer it like this. Listen, all of us need an opportunity to drive, and we need the opportunity to change and to do what we need to do in order to get ahead, and we should all compete for that. And we should give people money. And immigrants deserve to be treated just like all other Americans. And if you help those people, then you help all people. And all people are helped by being able to be helped. And that's the way that you help people. And that's what we need to do. We need to do that across the board. And education matters to everyone. And the sooner we do that, the stronger America we'll have, the better America we'll have, and we'll all be able to beat Donald Trump. Not only beat Donald Trump, but achieve in the American dream. And hold on, I'm not done. And the American people, gosh darn it, I want to finish. And the American people will understand the importance of our immigrants, our immigrant communities, and how we can work together to build a stronger America, and we can push back on this nonsense with Donald Trump and make us stronger all again. And they went on to the next question, or the next person. And I'm sitting here wondering, he said he wanted to talk about reparations. He said he's been waiting to talk about reparations. In his reparations answer, he never once said the word black or reparations. He said immigrant about 3 times, something about building bridges, and everybody working together on building bridges. No one hammered his ass. Now, guys, check this out. Tomorrow, I want to so much, guys, today, it's today because it's late. I want to see how many of these corporate media hacks, how many of these hacks, and some of my newly founded people who stab Bernie in the back all the time. Why aren't you talking about Joe Biden and his inability to address this issue? You know they bludgeoned Bernie about his reparations question, his question and answer. See, you are not supporters of the Bernie Sanders campaign. You're not supporting them. See, what you're going to do is you're going to use whatever you can to build all your notoriety and your name and build up your followers, build up your viewership, build up your show, build up your viewers using Tulsi Gabbard. But at the end of the day, you really don't care about these issues. And my point is very clear. Bernie was asked a question about reparations. He didn't answer. His answer did not suffice. I called him. I said, Bernie, you got to do a better job on this. Hard to support you. If you ain't going to deal with this directly, it's better to answer directly and it be a negative than not answer directly and leave people wondering what the hell you're talking about. Don't be avoiding it. Run right into it. Deal with it. I don't know if anybody else is addressing it. I'm likely to see not, because we got a lot of libertarians posing as progressives. We got these people who are Republican lights posing as progressives, and people who just lost their damn minds. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. They are gone. They left. The horse left the barn a long time ago. They are in another world. I don't know if they're getting paid to be as I don't know if they're being paid to be as obtuse as they're being, or as ignorant as they're being. I don't know. I think some of them are. But the bottom line is, if Bernie Sanders would have fumbled the reparations question, not even said the word black, mentioning immigrants and all this other crap, we never hear the end of it. And I know because it happened where he didn't even do that. He just didn't answer the question the way they wanted. He answered the question like, what do you mean by reparations? In what way? And that was it. Everybody lost their damn mind. People's hair was on fire. Babies was falling from the sky. Dogs was swimming and doing the back pedal, and crickets were all of a sudden painting houses. I mean, it was the craziest thing. Squids were falling from the sky. But Joe Biden with his, look, he's gone. It's over. All right? Nice guy. Wish him well. Had a good run. Got to be a senator and a vice president. You didn't do bad. You did all right. You set the world on fire. Okay? But Joe Biden, obviously, for the love of God, Joe Biden is incoherent. Scrambled eggs. And you guys are so busy talking about other people who are not, look, God bless you, love you, have no shot at the presidency. Joe Biden is a threat. Joe Biden is a neoliberal scumbag who they want to hand it to, and you will not go after him. Instead, every problem is Bernie Sanders. Everything wrong is Bernie Sanders. And you really mean well. Bernie Sanders. And why does it rain? Why did the rain come? Bernie should have stopped the rain. And people clap. Oh, this is great. This is great. I'm dumb. I'm the son. You are the aborted fetus of Debbie Lusignan. And you are clapping for him. You're clapping for this nonsense. Now, I don't mean no harm, man, but Joe Biden is the threat we have to worry about. Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg. Joe Biden's already said, pick me and nothing will change. Pick me and everything will stay the same. And instead, I got to hear your mouth run off at the mouth. And people make excuses for it. Oh, he's just passionate. He just got so much love. He's Cory Booker. I just got so much love in my heart. I was the mayor of Newark. Now I'm on YouTube and I make videos. I got so much love in my heart. My girlfriend's name is Rosario Dawson. And I got to hear explanations, excuses, lame reasons why it's okay to not go after the true, as they love to say, existential threat, which is Mayor Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden. It's right there. Where's your content, ho? Where is your content on Joe Biden and his horrible, horrible answer to an issue affecting a group of people that you need to win? Now, they don't like dealing with race because they don't like the fact that black people have power in order to swing an election. Now, they don't want to talk. That's why they say they don't like identity politics. They would rather black people have no say in this country. You use us to build the country. You use our skin as actual ornaments on your freaking fireplace. That was a real thing. And then when we say, then black people vote 95% Democrat, you don't like the fact that black people are pivotal when it comes to who's going to win this election. Well, sorry, you don't like it, move. Leave my country, mofo. Leave my country. Joe Biden if this gets circulated, black people will be able to rightly and justly so question Joe Biden. I'm personally so tired of Bernie Sanders getting the short end of the stick while people like Joe Biden do far worse. And I'm not expecting from corporate media. I get it. Corporate media, they don't want the guy that's saying fuck the billionaires. I get that. I understand it. I get it. It makes sense. Okay, yeah, okay, right. But when I have independent media doing the same, using the same talking points and worse, why doesn't he just overturn the entire party? Because he could actually win. I guess when, like in the movies when you're about to die and you get shot. Oh, I'm shot. Oh. Well, man, I'll carry you. No, man, go ahead, man. Just leave me your clip. Leave me your clip, man. Go ahead, bro. And they leave the clip. They shake hands, tell my wife, I love her. Well, see, there's some people that aren't going to make it. So their job is to take the clip and see the monster coming and say, yeah, monster, come get some. That all you got? That all you got? And they shoot. And they go out in a blaze of glory because that's their job, because they're not going to make it. They have no chance of making it. They are gut shot. The person that can make it and defeat the thing at the end, that's the person that doesn't risk it all and throw it all away and end up dead on the field just so you could go, well, it went down. Well, that's a good job. Hey, he tried, The movie's over. They lost. You mean the emperor wins? Yes, the emperor won. What part of life? Does that make sense? Am I making any sense? Listen, hey, Tim Black, my name's Cory Booker, and I'm trying to understand. I don't understand why you're so pushy on me. I'm a good guy. I wasn't in the debate today, Did I tell you my girlfriend's name is Rodoyo Dodson? She is. And she is amazing. All this time, I've been telling her about the Tim Black Show, and I told her, I said, I'm going to have Dr. Jason Johnson pestering the hell out of you. He's going to be hanging on your every tweet until you say it. Booker is a looker. Come on. Booker is a looker. Come on, you say it. Booker is a looker. That's right. I love it. Spartacus! I hope that I'm making sense here when I tell you this. Everybody not going to make it. Only one person can be the nominee from the Democratic Party. If your strategy is to go scorched earth on everybody that isn't your candidate, and then when they are done when they finally get their head shot by the neoliberals and it's over for them, then you're going to pivot to Bernie, who you have done everything you can to destroy. I don't think you should be able to do that. I know I have no control over what you can do. You can do whatever you want to do. I see you coming in. I see you. Oh, well, once she's, if this person, if Tulsi loses, then I'll just move to Bernie. I'll just move to Bernie, but I want to encourage Bernie to do. You want to encourage him by calling him a weak coward, yelling and spitting at the screen, and you people think that's smart? That's how you encourage. That's what you do, huh? That's the boy, man. It's something else. I say. We could be constructive. I've been constructive. I've called out things. I called out some things tonight I disagreed with. See how I disagreed with him? I didn't say he was a scumbag or lowlife or horrible individual, a failure, a turncoat, a seller. I didn't say any of those things. All I said was, do this next time. Instead of that, don't do that. Do this. Let's be smarter. Let's go this direction. This is the thing. This is the way we should do that. Why do other people get to run your name down in the dirt and then people go, okay, this is fine? Why is that acceptable? And why are you accepting it as an audience? I don't understand. This is gonna be more because I'm gonna do a real piece on this. This is not my real piece on Tulsi Gabbard and her impeachment thing, because I'm gonna address that tomorrow for my Freedom Friday monologue. Got to kind of let that settle in my head exactly how I want to present that. But as it pertains to this night, Tulsi Gabbard was not missed on that debate stage. I'm sorry she wasn't. It ended up being a good debate, and it's because I didn't know how good of a politician Amy Klobuchar was. She's a pretty good politician when she needs to be. Will she win the nomination? Hell no. Should she win it? No. Can she get my support? No, I don't support cops. I'm pretty cut and dry on that. Amy Klobuchar was throwing away the key on petty offenses, just like Kamala Harris. It ain't different just because it's a short white woman. I know I'm one of the few people in independent media that actually covered it, actually put out content about it, who didn't just go after the black woman. Okay? Me. I went after both of them because I try to keep it real. Eventually, you love me. You love me when I'm dead. When I'm gone, you'll love me. You respect me. The point is, Tulsi Gabbard was not missed today because Senator Elizabeth Warren also wants to win this race, and she's willing to go after Mayor Pete. She hit his ass in the wine cave. The wine cave. And you know what? I think it sunk him. They're not going to talk about it the way it should be talked about. I don't know how many people actually watch this debate. But if more people watch this debate, I think the damage was done tonight by Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar that sunk Mayor Pete. I think the women deserve to have the applause tonight. They took it. Now, don't get me wrong, I thought Bernie Sanders did a pretty good job. But in my opinion, and that's the only opinion I can care about doing my own analysis, in my opinion, that Amy Klobuchar and Senator Warren did a tag team on Pete Buttigieg. That all of the word salad and slippery language, the equivocating, the contradictory, the not understanding that money equals power, that all of us know money equals power. It makes people do horrible, disgusting things, like betray their brother and sister every day. Pete acts like, oh, well, it means if you can't turn down a donor, then, how much you got? Oh, meet me over there, man. Shut up and meet me over there. People take money and do all types of horrible things to each other. $500 will get you capped. Hell, $200 will get you capped by a drug addict. Pete's acting like money is nothing. It's no big deal. Closed doors and all the damage it's caused. So I think that Elizabeth Warren and Senator Amy Klobuchar, both the senators, did an excellent job of nullifying this Pete surge. It should be reported that way. I don't know if it is. And still, after everything I just said, I don't think Pete did the worst job. So let's do winners and losers. Winners, I just said it. Winners and losers. Winner, Amy Klobuchar was a winner. Yeah, Amy Klobuchar was a winner tonight. She showed why Amy Klobuchar is not a joke. Now, there was parts, I was like, okay, Amy, where you going with this? And she had a couple of throwaway lines. Sometimes she tries to be a little bit too cute. But, okay, fine. It was still her best night. And she's getting better at the right time. If you recall, she did pretty good last time. It wasn't great. They gave her more credit than she deserved. Tonight, they'll probably give her less credit because she did so at the expense of their golden boy, Pete Buttigieg. But I thought that Amy Klobuchar did a better night. She did a good night. She's a winner tonight. Also a winner tonight, Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang was definitely a winner tonight. He came out strong. He delivered. In fact, I got a clip of how strong Andrew Yang was. Check this out.
You would be the oldest president ever inaugurated. I'd like you to weigh in as well.
We're getting our news from different sources, and it's making it hard for us even to agree on basic facts. Congressional approval rating, last I checked, was something like 17%, and Americans don't trust the media networks to tell them the truth. The media networks didn't do us any favors by missing the reason why Donald Trump became our president in the first place. If you turn on cable network news today, you would think he's our president because of some combination of Russia, racism, Facebook, Hillary Clinton, and emails all mixed together. But Americans around the country know different. We blasted away 4 million manufacturing jobs that were primarily based in Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Missouri. I just left Iowa. We blasted 40,000 manufacturing jobs there. The more we act like Donald Trump is the cause of all of our problems, the more Americans lose trust that we can actually see what's going on in our communities and solve those problems. What we have to do is we have to stop being obsessed over impeachment, which unfortunately strikes many Americans like a ball game where you know what the score is going to be, and start actually digging in and solving the problems that got Donald Trump elected in the first place. We have to take every opportunity to present a new positive vision for the country, a new way forward to help beat him in 2020, because make no mistake, he'll be there at the ballot box for us to defeat.
That's right. Tonight was definitely, obviously, easily Andrew Yang's best night. He overperformed. I thought he did a great job. He did do a great job. That's why I thought he did a great job, because he did a great job, Johnson. He kicked butt. So major props to Andrew Yang for delivering tonight. It was a lot of pressure. He delivered on it. In fact, Andrew Yang answered a question towards the end of the show. And I know he shouldn't call it a show, but it's theater. Come on, guys. This is theater. He answered a question at the very end where they asked him something stupid, but he was able to flip it and get a standout line about a book. And it was so good that Pete used it the next time. Pete went next. Pete used Yang's line. And that would be fine, because flattery, they say imitation is the best form of flattery, but not in political debates. Not in political debates, maybe in some other things, but not in politics, not in policies. And then, hey, I hate to say it, I think Bernie used a little bit of it too. I mean, it became the thing to say because Yang is good on his feet. Now, there are going to be times when Yang leaves a joke out there a little bit too long. He thinks everybody's supposed to clap. He really thinks that he is Dave Chappelle. But I'll tell you, as someone who does this as well, has to speak extemporaneously, who has to come up with lines. It's not as easy as it appears to be, and Andrew Yang pulls it off pretty well. So he had a good night tonight. Andrew Yang is also a winner tonight. So that's two winners. Middle. Oh, Tim Black. What are we doing? Why don't you pick me? What's going on? Bernie, you had a pretty good night, but not a great night. Yeah. Oh, great night. Pretty good night. Oh, okay. Oh, you hear about the Medicare for All? I heard about the Medicare for All, Bernie. You did a good night. It was solid. You didn't lose anything. I think you. In fact, since other people underperformed, I feel like you overperformed in a way. I think you're. Oh, don't sugarcoat it. Don't sugarcoat. Don't. You don't like it? Don't eat. Get out. Get your ass out. But no, seriously though, Bernie Sanders, he did well tonight. It just was not. To me, he was hit. There were a couple of moments he was really on fire. I do not have the climate change comment, and there was like one other comment was really strong. I feel like he closed on a good, strong note because he didn't talk about a personal story like a cousin or uncle or aunt or something. I don't know why people think that's so effective to talk about family members, but I thought he did good with a good closer. So he did well. Okay, he did well. Also, who did well? Senator Elizabeth Warren did well. I think she delivered a couple of knocks on Mayor Pete. but I don't think they were. Yeah, she delivered some good knocks on Mayor Pete. She took a little bit of incoming, but I think she sustained that pretty well. Elizabeth Warren did, as well as Bernie Sanders. Okay, in my opinion, that's what I see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for who did worst. Mayor Pete is on the bottom of who did what. He's on the bottom of the bottom, okay? Mayor Pete, I thought, is obviously, as I stated, I was not impressed, and I'm glad he got his comeuppance, and it was about time he was delivered some pain and agony. Joe Biden, lost in the weeds as well, also on the bottom, but did a little bit better than Pete, because unless you count black voters who care about reparations, he did a little bit better than Pete, okay? Got a little testy there. Told Bernie to put his arm down or something. Don't put your hand up while I'm talking. I don't know. And you know something? I don't have that clip with me right now, but I want you to know something. Joe Biden is not as nice a guy as people want you to believe he is. Just because he does that shit. Just because he does that on TV doesn't mean he's that nice a guy. In fact, I think the people of Iowa, New Hampshire, up close, got to see that Joe is not a nice guy. He does not have the temperament to be president. Hold on a second. Hold on, no. Let me finish. Hold on a second. Everyone else get to talk. I'm going to talk right now. Damn it, I want to talk. Yankee Doodle went through town riding on the pedal. The point is, Biden was bad. It showed his temperament. As much as they love to call out Bernie Sanders, Bernie seems passionate. Biden seemed angry at times. He even said the guy Politico had no sense of humor because Biden told a joke that didn't work. What's wrong with you, man? But who did the worst tonight, in my opinion? Tom Steyer. He's the only person left. Why is Tom? Well, we already know why Tom's up there. Tom's up there because Tom has money. He has money to burn. He has money to throw away. Literally has money. He could just throw away money. He could throw away $1,000 every minute of the day. He still had more money than you and I and everybody watching put together. Tom Steyer is a rich bastard who's up here for fun and novelty or to try to get into heaven if it does exist. Tom Steyer is a horrible, horrible money-spending billionaire, one of these people. He understands the influence of money on politics because he's been using money to influence people his whole life. That's what he's been doing for at least the last 30, 40 years. That's what Tom Steyer's doing. That's why he knows so much about it. Then he pretends he's going to help fix it. A person who has been using it and getting ahead by using it, and now he want to be somebody, and we're not going to fall for that again. We're not going to fall again for the guy who says, hey, you need me to fix the problems of the rich people because I'm a rich person who knows all about the problems that I created. No, get out, leave. Give money to organizations, help fight climate change, but get the hell out of our elections, man. We don't need you. And take Michael Bloomberg and Deval Patrick with you. In fact, I think they're the same person. I think that Deval Patrick is Bloomberg in blackface with less money. That's what I think, and I'm tired of all of them. And Bloomberg ended up with Tom Steyer with a Christmas tie or without a Christmas tie. That's what I think. I think they're all the same people. I don't think you ever see all three of them in the same place at the same time because they're the same person. Or Bloomberg is that owner that for the Rockets. Was it the Rockets? Remember that owner got caught with that girl and she had him on tape? Don't bring the blacks to my games. I forget. It was years ago. I don't even remember the name of the team. But yeah, the worst person on that stage was Tom Steyer because he didn't deserve to be on that stage. Neither does Pete. He's second Johnson. He's second worst. Okay? All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Don't forget tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it'll be Freedom Friday. Call into the show, be a part of it, get whatever on your mind, off your mind, be here. I'm going to go to Super Chat and see if people have something to say. I'm sure they do. I'm not going to go into the impeachment thing. I want to mention, Andrew Yang brought up the impeachment issue. And there are people like wondering to Tim about impeachment. I did a 30-minute video on impeachment, and I told people, plain and simple, this was 2 days or a day before the ruling, that they actually, the vote before the vote. I said that this does not help us. This is not an issue that real people care about, regular people that work for a living care about. And at the end of the day, I think it's going to hurt Democrats more than help them. Trump's going to use it to run. He's going to play victim. He's going to use it. These are all things I said before it happened, before there was a vote cast. It wasn't about anybody in particular, but it was about that impeachment. So I want people to know, I was out in front of this thing. I was on top of it. I called it the way I saw it. No one has the market cornered on seeing impeachment for what it was, a political play. But I also do not believe, I also don't believe, I'm going to say the rest. I got some more thoughts about the impeachment process, because there's a little bit more, like the fact that I don't think that Trump is wrong to impeach Trump. I don't think it's wrong. I think every president in America had a reason to be impeached. That's what I believe. I believe that every one of them has done something that would make impeachment okay for them. We kill too many people for it not to be. Come on, guys. We kill too many people for it not to be. I'm not defending Donald Trump. I'm not trying to get his voters. I'm not trying to get his viewers. I'm just calling it like I see it. And that's what I believe about the guy. But we'll talk about it tomorrow in my monologue. All right, guys. I'm at Real Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter. Let's go to YouTube and see if anybody got a comment that I got to read, guys. We got to read the comments. Sign of Christ. Thank you for joining Sign of Christ. Robert Lee. Thank you, Robert. Yang Gang. Lauren Brillante, just appreciate you and want more people to join the Wolfpack. I do too, Lauren. We'll get them. They're going to find out about the show because I ain't going to stop. Killing 876. This is cultural appreciation. People of color is just a nicer way of saying colored person. Not for Chinese, but I agree with Tim. Yang improved. Yes, he did. Thank you. Thank you, brother. I know you're a young guy dude, but you see what I'm saying? He did a better job, man. Yang's answer had more compassion in it, which is going to resonate better with these people. It's like he understands. You don't have to be a black person to understand the conversation that black people have and the way they feel about the system in which they live. And you have to be able to articulate that. And he didn't have to go become Malcolm X or MLK or anything like that. Just needs to speak authentically, which he's good at doing. That's why people like Yang, right? And he did that. He allowed himself to go there. And he did not mention, the DNC did a great job. They did the best they could do because the DNC, they got it so hard trying to make rules for us. Nah, man, don't do that. I'm so glad he left that shit out. All right? DNC, they did the best they could do, man. Nah, no. Don't say that. Don't say it. So I'm glad he left that part out. Thrasher says, Pete exposed himself as a petty man baby tonight. He did. He looked horrible. The reason why I say Tom Steyer did worse, because Tom has no business being in our debates at all, okay? But on substance, yeah, Pete was worse. Rev Marie, Pete was insulting. South Bend is no Mike Pence. Indiana, it has decades of LGBT advocacy. He came out after he won primary, 4 months before the election. I feel you. Yeah, I had a long interview with Henry Davis Jr., who gave me immense detail about Mayor Pete. And I live tweeted that I thought it was horrible that Mayor Pete is able to fabricate his history, his resume about South Bend to people that don't know it. And damn it, if I could, it's what it is, man. I don't know what it is about my content that can't be shared and it's not being publicized to the extent it needs to be publicized. That was an excellent interview with Henry Davis Jr. Much more in depth than the interview he did with The Hill, but the viewership was not the same. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it was, but my interview, which was their interview with Henry Davis Jr., was all of 10 minutes. Mine was 45 minutes. So as far as the amount of information, it's not even close to being comparable, right? Not even close to being comparable. But for some reason, it's not being shared. So if my interview, that long-form interview, would have got shared with the councilman-elect on South Bend, Henry Davis Jr., maybe, just maybe, it would have had an impact But maybe I didn't. I know I need to use a curse word. I didn't cuss in the title of the video because that's what the guy from The Root did. What's his name? You guys know his name. Harriet, Mr. Harriet. That's what he did. He had to curse in the title, and everybody looked. Pete Buttigieg is a lying mofo, and then everybody read it. Oh, look at this. Maybe if I'd have cursed in the title of my YouTube video, maybe that's what it is. Thank you, Red Marie. 99 Nation video says Pete doesn't even have the shirtless pics online. He'd have pulled an Anthony Weiner by now if he was any good at his gay card. LGBTQIA, lame game. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sure that there are people who are straight who don't have shirts. Obvious reasons you won't find me with shirts off, or won't find any pictures of me with my shirt off, because I don't want to subject you to that. I don't want a lawsuit by hurting anyone's eyes. I don't want to lose. So look, I don't want to lose subscribers. But all right. By the way, there's been 8 months of burning events blotting out the entire state of South Carolina every single week nonstop. Wow. And Schultze 100. For some reason, I can't see your comment, Schultze. It's like the last comment. It's always cut off when I try to look at it here. And you're the last comment, bro. So my apologies, bro. I don't know why that is, Schultze. Whew. Tabitha said, I agree, Tim, that interview you did with Henry Davis Jr. was excellent. Thank you. Hey, I tried, man. I tried. It's there if you guys want to check it out. It totally destroys the false narrative that Pete likes to set up about his tenure as mayor. And he's no longer mayor, right? Like, he's leaving the post at the end of the year. In fact, according to Henry Davis Jr., Pete was away more than he was there. If he wasn't running for something else in the DNC or enlisting in Afghanistan when no one asked him to, if he wasn't traveling the country, selling the world on South Bend, Indiana, trying to attract business to South Bend, Indiana, he wasn't there doing his job. There were people who didn't even know Pete was the mayor. Keep it 100. All right, guys. That's it. That's all, guys. Have a great evening. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow, 10 p.m., Freedom Friday, 319-527-6212. 319-527-6212 is the number that you dial up to if you want to speak. You get 3 minutes of fun. Say whatever's on your mind. Get it out of you and put it into the airwaves. I got love for you. Don't forget, by popular demand, Johnson is here. I have new Johnson designs in my shop. If you want to pick them up, check them out. They are hilarious. They are revolutionary. And they're all Johnson. You're going to love them, man. Check them out. Both parties suck, Johnson. It's one of my favorites. Independent media only, Johnson. Keep it real. We are all Johnson. We are. We're one big community, guys. Go check it out. Independent media only. Johnson's in the house. Both parties suck, Johnson. We are here. They got a special going on right now. Free shipping. Get it today. Wolfpack.
We need a president who will do everything humanly possible to end all forms of discrimination against the transgender community, against the African American community, against the Latino community, and against all minorities in this country. But above and beyond providing the moral leadership of trying to bring our people together, what we also need for the transgender community is to make sure that health care is available to every person in this country, regardless of their sexual orientation or their needs. And that is why I strongly support and have helped lead the effort for a Medicare for All single-payer program, which will provide comprehensive health care to all people, including certainly the transgender community.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Senator Warren?
The transgender community has been marginalized in every way possible. And one thing that the President of the United States can do is lift up attention, lift up their voices, lift up their lives. Here's a promise I make. I will go to the Rose Garden once every year to read the names of transgender women, of people of color who have been killed in the past year. I will make sure that we read their names so that as a nation, we are forced to address the particular vulnerability on homelessness. I will change the rules now that put people in prison based on their birth sex identification rather than their current identification. I will do everything I can to make sure that we are in America that leaves no one behind.
Thank you, Senator Warren. Amna?
Vice President Biden, let's turn now to Afghanistan. Confidential documents published last week by the Washington Post revealed that for years, senior U.S. officials misled the public about the war in Afghanistan. As Vice President, what did you know?
Afghanistan, you said?
Yes, sir, Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's it.
As Vice President, what did you know about the state of the war, and do you believe that you were honest with the American people about it?
The reason I can speak to this, it's well known, if any of you followed it, my view on Afghanistan. I was sent by the president before we got sworn in to Afghanistan to come back with a report. I said there was no comprehensive policy available, and then I got in a big fight for a long time with the Pentagon because I strongly opposed the nation-building notion we set about. Rebuilding that country as a whole nation is beyond our capacity. I argued from the very beginning that we should have a policy that was based on an anti-terrorism policy with a very small footprint that, in fact, only had special forces to deal with potential threats from that territory to the United States of America. The first thing I would do as President of the United States of America is to make sure that we brought all combat troops home, entered into a negotiation with the Taliban, but I would leave behind special forces in small numbers to be able to deal with the potential threat unless we got a real good negotiation accomplished to deal with terrorism. That's been my position from the beginning. That's why I think Secretary Gates and some members of the Pentagon weren't happy with me.
Mr. Biden, the question was about your time in the White House, though. And
I'm talking about the White House.
In that Washington Post report, there's a senior national security official who said that there was constant pressure from the Obama White House to produce figures showing the troop surge was working, and I'm quoting from the report here, despite hard evidence to the contrary. What do you say to that?
Since 2009, go back and look, I was on the opposite side of that with the Pentagon. The only reason I can speak to it now is because it's been published. It's been published thoroughly. I'm the guy from the beginning who argued that it was a big, big mistake to surge forces to Afghanistan, period. We should not have done it. And I argued against it constantly.
Senator Sanders, you had your hand up?
Well, in all due respect to Joe, you're also the guy who helped lead us into the disastrous war in Iraq. What we need to do is, I think, rethink, and the Washington Post piece was very educational. What we need to rethink is the entire war on terror. We have lost thousands of our own men and women, brave soldiers. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have been killed abroad or forced to leave their countries. It is time right now that we bring this world together to try to end these endless wars and address the root causes which are causing